Hello, everybody. Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast. I'm here with another early classic Doctor Who reaction. I am a first-time watcher of Doctor Who. I am a lifelong Star Trek and Star Wars fan. So what am I going to make of this, the fourth episode of the Sensorites series, namely A Race Against Death? Before getting into that, just a quick reminder that I appreciate feedback either through rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com or alternatively, you can just comment on this YouTube channel here, which many people have been, and it's been an absolute pleasure interacting with you fine Whovians. Both in the sense of sharing opinions on the episodes, but also in the incredible schooling and education in this franchise that I know little to nothing about. So that is very much appreciated. I would also ask or suggest that you check out the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, the audio podcast that is also on this YouTube channel. And also you will have noticed a number of other reaction analysis type videos coming up around music, live performance this time. So there is a veritable cornucopia of content on this channel, so please do go and check that out. But without further ado, I'm going to get straight into watching some Doctor Who because I have missed this show in the few days it has been since I watched part 3 of the Sensorites. So let's jump to part 4, A Race Against Death, and see how Ian and the gang are doing. Oh, not so well is the answer to that.
There is no hope. Your friend is dying.
Never the elders?
No.
It's incredible. The build-up in body temperature. Is it a germ, the air?
Grandfather, it doesn't seem like a disease at all.
I agree with you.
We've done everything together.
I love watching Hartnell think. You know, I mean, because that's what his character does ultimately, isn't it? So finding an actor who's able to convey that really economically and really energetically and dramatically and interestingly is very, very important.
We've come from the spaceship together. We've come through the city together.
Yes.
This room?
This isn't a disease. It's more like poison. Oh, go to your scientist now. I want some sodium chloride, and I want it quickly.
I love the way they just fall into line. He's that authoritative, isn't he?
Hush, Ian.
Will they let me into my ship?
Oh yeah, there's Hartnell. That's pure Hartnell,
What
that
they
is.
call the doctor may not be sincere,
But his friend is dying.
or pretending to
Sting
die.
as well.
Then you let the doctor into his spaceship. Once inside it, we may be at his mercy.
The thing is, I talk a lot about the politics, the geopolitical stuff with the Race of the Week, but this stuff feels a little bit more authentic in some weird way. It may seem like an odd thing to say about masked monsters, but I kind of understand where they're coming from a little bit here. You can see both sides of the argument.
I believe in him.
To a certain
The
extent.
doctor may go away to fetch an army of human beings and a fleet of spaceships.
This is a terrible picture you paint. Do you mistrust them as much as all that?
I do not trust them as much as
It's like the
you.
water's pouring on that
So-
guy's head.
I advise caution.
Great lab sounds there. Great sci-fi lab sounds. Scientist's got a bigger head. And a great sci-fi brain strap device there as well. That's good.
Why is this creature here?
We are clearing his mind.
On whose orders? None of them wear any signs of authority or badges of position. How are we to distinguish them? What is wrong with the other one?
It's also interesting that we're getting the alien perspective of our heroes as well, of our largely seemingly human heroes. It's an interesting perspective, particularly from quite complex, soft-spoken
He has caught the
monsters,
disease.
air quotes.
Their commander, the doctor, believes our water supply is to blame.
What a brilliant scheme.
Explain.
To attack our confidence in
these
one of the
music
necessities.
stinks.
There is nothing wrong with our water supply. Nothing at all. This is a trick to get us at their
Star Trek
mercy.
use very similar ones.
Evil. How's John? One
Not
of the
great.
scientists.
You can see my collar of office. I am the city administrator.
Yes, I'm sorry, but when you're
They're really into this kind of bureaucratic hierarchy stuff here, aren't they? They're all about rank,
turned,
these
it's
guys.
very difficult to see. I don't know what we'd all do if you changed your badges and sashes. We wouldn't be able to tell you apart.
I have never thought of
Kind
that.
of racist. Although it goes both ways, I guess.
You die! No noise! I beg of you.
But why can't you make up your mind?
Just look at that young man. I've done all I can for him at the moment.
I love about this Sensorite. It's like a kind of put-upon husband who just can't
Give him
stand the
salt
yelling
and
anymore.
water. He's been coughing his heart out. Do you really mean you can hear their minds talking, Susan?
Yes, but it's not very distinct.
Doctor,
Interesting.
I cannot allow you to go to your ship.
Don't set yourself against
Great seeing
me.
Susan being
There
useful.
is a laboratory here. You may prove your poisoned water theory there, or not at all.
You fool!
Grandfather, please. They think...
It's like they're permanently hungover almost, isn't it? And they just can't stand all the yelling. And you know, Hartnell, he can do shrill as well, so he's
attacking them.
perfectly placed to be able to mess with these guys.
We're sorry. There's so much about your planet we don't understand.
It's inhuman.
Grandfather,
Just monstrous.
we didn't mean to use sound as a weapon. We didn't even know sound hurt you.
Very well. But please be careful in future. I wish to see regular reports on the progress of this theory.
Theory?
Grandfather, please.
I know we have no alternative.
Wow, he's really kicking the door in,
such
isn't he, on
outrageous
in this
behaviour.
episode?
Oh, forget it, child.
It's egregious.
Now, I want you to stay here and act as nurse. Watch his pulse rate for you and let me know immediately.
What happened to me?
How are you feeling?
My throat's still sore.
Any pains elsewhere?
No. But I feel very giddy.
Yes, so let him have all the crystal water
Great
he
60s
wants.
word, isn't it? Giddy.
If his breathing gets feeble.
These creatures are defeating us with smiles and gentle words. Our leaders listen and agree.
This suspicion, this sense of suspicion that they've got is really kind of relatable. You know, I mean, we saw a lot of science fiction in the 50s, you know, the post-war paranoia, the Cold War paranoia, the atomic paranoia, the fearing of your neighbors, of infiltration. And I think that that's a really heady theme for science fiction. You know, this idea that sticks and stones can break bones, you know, and this sowing the seed of mistrust and moral ambiguity. And it's a really scary idea because I think we can all see it. We've all seen it in the real world, and we know what a potent force that can be, you know. And we see it in the news every day, even now. So, yeah, this is great allegorical science fiction.
We must match cunning with cunning.
Yes, really have to say. Very
Sense
comprehensive.
identity
Now,
hijinks
gentlemen,
afoot.
the mouth and throat both become extremely dry.
Very authoritarian, small glasses there. Definitely a great prop for Hartnell to be working with.
Now, what
great
we have to
advice,
do
it's a
is
business.
this gentleman isolate the poison and then prescribe the remedy. We give you...
I also love how happy he gets and how he just kind of gets his jollies off figuring stuff out, doesn't he? That's a very appealing element.
and mark it, and then start keeping records. And there's not a moment to lose. And remember, I want samples from all the outlying districts. It's imperative.
God, that was a lot of dialogue for Hartnell to get through. He did really good, though. Course corrected halfway through. There we go.
The doctor has had some success. A remedy will be available soon.
Goodness.
The rolling R's. I feel like we became a much less civilized society when we stopped doing that. Beginning of the end. Forget bringing back national service. Bring back rolling R's.
Pretends to cure him. And then he will kill us all with the poison he has made.
That's not
He's a
true.
real conspiracy
Our
theorist,
scientists
this
have
guy,
worked
isn't he?
with him. They say that...
Silence!
And this idea of silencing scientists as well. I mean, there's a theme that will never go out of style.
Bind him! Keep him here!
We all look the same to those racists.
I'm going to find the first elder, scientist rather, and we're going off on an exploration. It isn't dangerous, of course.
Nicely corrected. And again, I mean, that sounds like a mistake that somebody would actually make in real life. You know, the skill here isn't remembering this stuff because that's just not going to happen 100% of the time.
But when I
you know,
extol
being
my
light-footed enough to
I'm
be able to
sure
correct
we'll all
yourself,
be out of
and he
trouble.
can do that.
Supposing your disguise is seen through. They say without the antidote the young man will die. I say he will live because he is pretending.
That is like the old witch hunt. You know, if you drown and sink, then, well, you know, we know you weren't really a witch. But, you know, sorry about being dead.
This will prove it. One way or the other.
Why hasn't the antidote arrived
There's
yet?
always bloody
I
one,
do
isn't
not
there?
know.
Doctor must have run into a snag, Susan.
You will not be able to see.
Oh, but I have a torch.
There are monsters in there.
Indeed? Are there?
Not
Yes,
monsters.
we've heard them.
And not seen them?
No, but they are there. The noise is terrifying.
Yes, I think you should return to the laboratory. I shall be all right. Leave it to me.
God, they just live in fear, don't they, these guys? The doctor's like, yeah, but you know,
You, I assure you.
you guys are a bit soft, aren't you? I reckon I'll be all right.
How very convenient. Yes. Noise and darkness. The two things the Sensorites dislike.
Look at that face. This is William Hartnell. This sort of, oh yes, this is, I mean, he's in full kind of Pied Piper, Peter Cushing, Willy Wonka guys here, isn't he? And that's
more
one of
in
the
this
many values he
than
brings.
meets the eye.
A joy discovering this show.
These people have fine qualities. The second elder and I have misjudged them, and I will tell him so.
The first
You
elder.
won't listen.
Give
You'll
me the
just
mind
steal your
transmitter.
sash.
Do you think I'm a fool?
Take this. It's a radioelectric light.
Thank you. Ian, how do you
A
feel?
whole lot of death.
If you don't want to go any further, just say.
No, I'm fine. Come on.
Is it?
Stiff British upper lip there.
Yes.
Does sound like a monster. Good stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of the fourth episode in a six-parter lull here. Not the strongest episode, but at the same time, plenty to enjoy. I think that the elements that would normally drag an episode like this down, I don't think do necessarily here because of the I guess the sophistication of what they're doing with the aliens. This idea of intense bureaucracy, this idea of mistrust, this idea of lack of identity and miscommunication. And that's all interesting stuff. And also there's some spooky goings on with monsters as well, which has to be appreciated. And having Ian out of commission for so much of the episode really makes me realise how much value, or remember, I say realise, he's kind of my favourite character in the show in some ways. And when he's not around, you know, you do kind of feel his absence. But and again, it's great to see Susan being proactive and having value in the role as well. So it's a middling episode, but there's still plenty to enjoy. And Hartnell's really great in this episode. He gets to do shrill, he gets to do angry, he gets to do inquisitive, and he gets to do gleeful as well. So that's all really enjoyable and just reminds me how, as I said earlier, how happy I am that I discovered this show. So we'll be on to Kidnap, the fifth part of the Sensorites. Before you know it, quick reminder to please do leave comments or email at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com. Also check out the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike audio podcast that shares his feed and all of the other bits and pieces of pop culture, music, film, television, commentary and analysis that are also here. So I will see you soon.